Here is your latest African news. Africa-wide, activists call for fairer terms at the EUAU summit. Civil society groups have cautioned that the 6th Europe-Africa Summit, which takes place this week in Brussels, Belgium, risks entrenching inequality between the two continents unless purposeful actions are done to rebalance relations. Activists learned that major demands for Africa such as debt relief and progressive trade regulations are unlikely to be reached under the current negotiation framework during a two-day webinar held ahead of the EUAU meeting. The lack of a strong united bargaining position makes Africa vulnerable to poor deals and changes in agreed position. Some of the issues that civil society activists say the summit in Brussels should focus sharply on include more equitable distribution of COVID-19 vaccines, more progressive policies on migrations, as well as peace and security arrangements which prioritize the interest of African citizens, not those of African leaders and their Western allies. Kenya and Ethiopia. Kenya-Ethiopia to jointly fight terror at common borders. Ethiopia and Kenya have reached an agreement to jointly fight terror threats along their common borders. They signed an agreement to start the joint operation within a month to curb the reach of Somalia's Al-Shabaab and Ethiopia's OLF-designated terror groups. The details came following a meeting between Ethiopian Federal Police Commissioner General Demilas Gebre-Michael and Kenya's Inspector General of the Kenya National Police Service Hilary Mutyambai in the Ethiopian capital Addis Ababa. The two sides held discussions on security issues of mutual concerns and reiterated to boost security cooperation to fight cross-border terrorism and ensure peace and stability at their borders. Rwanda. France ends case over plane attack that sparked Rwanda genocide. France's top court has confirmed that a probe should be closed into the shooting down of a presidential plane that triggered the 1994 Rwanda genocide, ending a two-decade legal saga. The Court of Cassation rejected the appeal by families of people killed in the missile attack on President Juvenal Habyarimana's aircraft on April 6, 1994, that asked judges to reverse the lower court's decision to abandon the case. Relations between Paris and Kigali had long been strained by the probe and its associated arrest warrants. The court added that investigation was complete and sufficient charges did not exist against anyone for committing the alleged crimes, nor any other violation. Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe reopens land borders after a year. Zimbabwe is reopening its land borders to ordinary travelers after closing them for almost a year owing to an increase in COVID-19 infections. Since January of last year, the country's ports of entry on the borders between Botswana, South Africa, Mozambique, and Zambia have only been open to commercial traffic and returning citizens. As Zimbabwe faced different waves of the pandemic, only airports handle non-commercial activities such as returning residents. All persons entering Zimbabwe have had a valid COVID-19 test and be completely vaccinated within 48 hours of their departure from Zimbabwe. Those who have received a booster shot have an added advantage, according to Information Minister Monica Mutsvangwa. Kenya. Teachers in Kenya to enjoy 120-day maternity leave. Teachers in Kenya will soon have enhanced maternity and paternity leaves with full pay, the Teachers Service Commission boss has announced. New mothers will now be entitled to 120 days maternity leave from the statutory 90 days, while fathers will have 21 days paternity leave from the current 14 days. Teachers are now also entitled to 45 days of pre-adoptive leave. Maternity leave is set to begin on the date of delivery, and the teacher will not forfeit her annual vacation on account of taking maternity leave. For male teachers, their paternity leave begins in the duration of their spouse's maternity leave. Their pre-adoptive leave starts on the date of adoption. Tanzania. Tour operators oppose cable car plans on Kilimanjaro. Tour operators in Tanzania have strongly protested the move to install cable cars on Africa's highest mountain, calling on members of parliament to intervene. The operators say the plan will degrade Mount Kilimanjaro's prime tourism status and the environment. At a meeting held in the northern city of Arusha, a gateway to safari destinations including Mount Kilimanjaro, they also called on President Samia Suluhu Hassan to intervene, saying the cable car facility would reduce incomes for expedition planners and other stakeholders. Tanzania Association of Tour Operators said they would lose revenues as tourists would only require a few hours to reach the peak instead of trekking for 5 to 7 days. Denied Tanzanian youth employment as porters, the government is banking on the cable car facility to unlock its potential to attract tourists who cannot hike to Africa's tallest peak on foot. Angola. Angola recovered looted assets worth over $11 billion US. Angola has recovered assets worth more than $11 billion US that had been looted from state coffers and stashed in countries around the world. Justice Minister Francisco Queiroz has said the authorities have launched 715 criminal prosecutions for corruption, fraud, embezzlement, and other financial crimes. Queiroz said in a state-owned Journal de Angola, after taking office in 2017, President João Lourenço launched an anti-corruption drive to recoup assets he suspected were embezzled under his predecessor, José Eduardo dos Santos' administration. In 2020, José Filomeno dos Santos became the first member of the former First family to be prosecuted as part of an anti-corruption campaign led by President João Lourenço. He was charged with stealing $500 million from the Sovereign Wealth Fund and transferring it to a bank account in Switzerland. Soon after, dos Santos' billionaire daughter Isabel dos Santos was also probed for a long list of crimes including mismanagement, embezzlement, and money laundering during her tenure at the state-run oil giant Son Angola. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, follow, share, and like our video. It's the best way of supporting us. Great news! You can now pre-order our children's book, Maua and the Gardens of Plenty, a book that teaches children the power of great ideas. This book is the best way to start exposing your children to African stories told by Africans. Find the purchase link in the description below. You can directly support this new series by becoming our YouTube member, Patreon, or donor. And remember,